But that is open anyway. Probably not back, we either get to it.
He doesn't have a bio. I got you. He doesn't want to fall into everybody. Just introduce me. I would make it, we're all trying to see so long.
Okay.
What's
That's the next level up with three. Zoom up.
Yeah. Thank God. We got one.
22, 23.
Okay.
Light.
These are lights, right?
9 o'clock.
Probably. They look like it, yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can bring those.
Uh-huh.
I have my glasses on, my reading glasses. Usually if it's bright enough, it's not a problem. That was wasn't fun. It was not the big
New meeting place.
So that part was.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the first meeting of 2025. I'm excited with all the things that we have to bring to you today, so we're going to jump right in because I've got a lot of the agenda I want to try and get through and make sure we have plenty of time for our speaker. The vocational or this theme for this month is Vocational Service Month. That's one of the things that Rotary does better than any other organization, I think, is vocational service. So thank you for all you do. And we'll talk about one item that you've done recently later in the presentation. The theme this year for Rotary is the magic of Rotary. And indeed, it is a magical organization. Lynn Clary is going to help us start out the year with our four-way test.
All the things we think and say are true. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thanks, Lynn. So I'm going to be providing the reflection for today. On the day of my retirement, a colleague of mine gave me a special gift. And it was a book called, excuse me, The Little Things in Life, Simple Reflections from the 100-Acre Woods. And if you flip to the next slide. The book is about Christopher Robin and how he loses his lucky stone. And the book follows the path of Pooh Bear as he goes on a quest to find the stone and meets up with his friends along the way. They ended up back at Christopher Robin's home, and I'm now going to read the ending and the reflections associated with each page. The magic of this book is that every passage in this Pooh Bear journey has a reflection associated with it. So they just returned to Christopher Robin's house. And Christopher Robin says, "Hello, everyone. You've been on a quest, you say. Please come in and tell me all about it over breakfast." And the reflection is, allow yourself to be surprised, especially by happiness, friendship, and kindness. What a magnificent adventure, and what wonderful friends for trying to help me find my lucky stone. And the reflection is, a memory shines more brightly when it's shared. Now, one of the things that I want you to think about as we're going through this is the four-way test and how many of these passages reflect on the four-way test. But when we did find it in the end, that's because my lucky stone wasn't really lost, Pooh Bear. When I reached into my pocket this morning, there it was. Even when it's difficult, try your best, be truthful with your friends. Looks like an ordinary stone to me. What's so special about it? Well, you see, Eeyore, I found this stone on the very same day I first met Pooh Bear. It reminds me of how lucky I am to have a friend like Pooh, and to all the rest of you too. And the reflection is, even the simplest of objects can have great value, not for themselves, but for the memories they hold. Hooray for lucky stones and for quests, even though I had the thing you were questing for all along. And the reflection is, there's no bad excuse for a party. True, we weren't sure exactly what we were doing or where we were going, and some difficult things happened, but we had some together. We did it all together. Allow yourself to be open to a journey. And then it ends with just silly old bear. But I highly recommend the book. And like I say, each passage, I just read the end of it, but each passage has a reflection associated with it. They're really cute. So it was one of the best presents I got at my retirement. So Frank Allen is going to take a moment and help us with happy thoughts.
Happy thoughts, happy thoughts. Everybody wants to start us off. Throw the microphone. You start on the side of the room. I threw $1 in already, so while you're pulling your money out, my happy thought today is my mother is doing much better. And that's why George is not here today. She had an unfortunate accident on Sunday. So my happy thought is that she's much improved, and I'm thrilled to say that. All right. Who's digging around? Who's got $1 out? There's one.
My half thought is that we have a painter at our house stripping old wallpaper in our hallways. And he's doing a great job, and it's you know, I didn't know if we'd ever find anybody who'd be willing to do that job, and he's doing a great job, and it's kind of throwing up some fumes in the house and everything, but that makes me really happy. Thank you.
Excellent. Here, the center of the room.
My happy thought is it was really easy to find a parking space. So I love that, and I'm just to celebrate our new venue.
Excellent. This table, anyone? Okay, I'm shifting over here to Randy.
And part of my job as Rochester Best is to raise the funds, and today I found a major sponsor who will sponsor our parade next year, so I'm very happy.
Who is it?
That's on my board.
Yeah, thank you. I put 2 happy bucks, one to celebrate handing over the chairperson role for Rochester Fest to Sylvia Bujic after a year of amazing journeying with Randy and Christine and the rest of the team. So it promises to be another great program. And the other is, this is my wife's 60th birthday coming up in March, and she's got some interesting venues for us to explore.
Thanks, I'm over here, I'm calling.
I'd like to borrow $1 from a fellow Rotarian. I'm kidding, I don't even. Thank you. I was in for services 5 weeks ago. I had one. I did retire from financial services 5 weeks ago, and 4 weeks ago I got a new hip, so I'm thrilled that I have a new hip, and my wife Pat is also thrilled that I'm finally out of the house.
Excellent, over here to John.
Just want to thank the members for their $19 donate or lunch, leaving the extra $1 for the Happy Bucks.
Excellent. Anyone else? I would compliment the food, thank you, it's excellent today. All right, I'm taking the microphone back, last chance.
My happy buck is just for wishing Dorothy a swift recovery. Frank was very light on the explanation, but Dorothy got hit by a car, fell and hit her head. So our heart is with the Allen family. Randy Stalker,
Yes.
you have more to say. Randy is going to do his new member spotlight today.
Ash, told me 30 minutes, is that right?
No.
I'm excited to be here, guys. It's I was a Rotarian in Illinois for 9 years. Loved it. Got real involved with the international exchange program. I already jumped in here with some good groups, so it's been fun. I grew up near Champaign, Illinois, a little town called Gibson City, 3,500 people. I went to college at Eastern Illinois University in Charleston, Illinois. Graduated in 1980 with a business degree. And I've had multiple careers and jobs along the way. Married my wife, Shar. We actually met, her best friend married my best friend, and we walked down the aisle together is how we met. It was sort of interesting, and that was 42 years ago. Most of them are good. We've had 4 children. Our daughter Janelle would have been 40. She was killed by a distracted semi-truck driver, and she was 19. Our son Matt is 38. He lives 4 blocks from us. He has twin grandsons, Lucas and Milo, 4 years ago. Our daughter Amy should have been 30. She was also killed by that distracted semi-truck driver, along with my mother. The 3 of them killed for that. She was 9 when she was killed. And then after the girls were killed, we adopted a little girl from China. Her name is Melissa. She is an amazing young lady. She goes to Drake University in Des Moines, studying pharmacy. And hopefully she'll support her dad in my retirement. To be determined. Career, I spent most of my career in the food service business. About a $10 billion company in Mount Sterling, Illinois, a town of 1,000 people. So I travel the country for them. Been in real estate for several years, and I've owned 7 small businesses over the years. A couple of bookstores and a packing and shipping company and an internet company. Right now I am a professional speaker. I travel the country and I talk about my loss of my 2 daughters, my mother. So I talk about loss, grief, and resilience. I'm author of a book called Hugs Help. And Shock's been my biggest customer over the years here. But I talk about in the book and my presentation, and I try to explain to people how to help those that are grieving. Okay, we're all blessed and we're all cursed, everyone in this room. So I was cursed by losing my family, but blessed by having a good life despite being cursed so bad. And I think you can all probably say the same thing out there. Let's see, what else? Real involved in the community through the Chamber of Commerce. I am a senior softball player. If you're 40, if you're a woman, 50 if you're a guy to play, we have a lot of fun. Play indoors twice a week. Part of the Compassionate Friends group, where we help those people that have lost children, provide them support and guidance and education. What else do I do?
Rochester Fest.
Rochester Fest, that's right, good job. Thanks, Ash. Got hired on August 1st to run Rochester Fest. Stephen Rose has done it for 3 years, did a great job. He got tired. I don't blame him. I'm tired after 4 months here. But it's an opportunity to bring something special back to Rochester. I'm making a lot of changes, a lot of exciting things coming on, a lot of new things coming on. Getting involved with the community. I've got 5 community groups working with me now to provide special days for the veterans, provide special days for the senior citizens, for the pets of the area, for the kids of the area, for the different ethnic groups of the area. So those are just 5 of the committees. We've got 26 committees going on right now. But I hope you plan to come to Rochester Fest next year. It's going to be an amazing event. And I'm glad to be part of Rotary. Thank you.
Great to get to know. And then quickly, we have a number of birthdays. I don't see any of the birthdays today, but I do see a couple of the folks here. So I wish you all a very happy birthday. And then we have a number of Rotary anniversaries. Lynn, 44 years. John Woodruff. So I just want to take a moment. As a matter of fact, I want to give him a big round of applause. John Woodruff has had 50 years in the Rotary, but that's 50 years of perfect attendance. Love having you with the club, John. Thank you for everything that you do. Okay, and then I want to give a big thanks to everyone who helped out this year with our bell ringing for the Salvation Army. Mark, we raised $12,161.67. What a wonderful contribution to a great cause. Any additional?
Well, the additional comments I have is it's very easy to do this committee right here, this job, because we got such great volunteers who actually enjoy standing out there and meeting the people with smiles on their faces and thanking them. And it's surprising how many people come up to you and just start talking to you and you don't know who they are, and they're recipients of the Salvation Army. So it really feels good that we can be part of this program, and we have been for number of years. I went back to some records, and that was a long time that we've been doing this, probably over 75 years. And so that's one good thing. The other good thing is we had great weather. I think the only bad day that I heard from people was 37th Street High V. It was windy out of the north, and the heater wasn't working indoors, so the doors were closing and all the wind was coming in. But other than that, it was great weather, and we'll do it again next year. And if nobody minds standing outside for 2 shifts, we'll do outside. They'll probably give us the same locations. I haven't asked for them yet, but they like to put us in good spots. So thank you very much. $12,000 is fantastic. We can't do it without you.
And Sarah, can score any guests that you're aware of? John? And we'll introduce him in just a moment. So we're in a new place. I'm very happy with the location. Couple of things. Number one, we have our chef with us today. Thank you for the wonderful meal. And our organizer, who's really set things up for us. So thanks to both of you. Just a quick question. This is kind of the setup, the arrangement we've chosen. We made sure that the tables were close. You know that we have a lot of space here, but I wanted to make sure that everybody was able to see the screens. And you know, when we're doing the Zoom, that we have a chance to see everybody. We have great parking. One of the options we have is opening this door as well, but we decided versus having cold weather coming in, that we'd have everybody come through the main door. Just opening it up real quickly. Any questions, comments, thoughts? Yes.
Are we back out there or are they in here?
They're right here. One is here, and one is on the other side. Love it. You have two on either side.
That's fantastic.
They have been open to help us with anything. They have a storage locker specifically for our items, lock and key. They've just been tremendous to work with. But they're also interested in making this work for our Rotary Club. I'm going to invite the presidents of the other clubs here and see if, so they have a chance to see our setup, and maybe they'll want to use the facility as well. But I just want to introduce them to the environment. If you turn around, there's a stage. This is a wonderful room for parties. So in the future, if we have Rotary parties, I've talked to them about the possibility of hosting parties at night. They're very open to that. So again, just a wonderful location, and to be a part of the VFW organization, I think is wonderful as well. They've put up a notice on their website inviting other VFW members to call us if they have an interest in Rotary. So we'll see how things go. Yes.
So, can you tell me when you're gonna set up the stage for your Rotary song?
When are we going to set up the stage for our Rotary song with Warren? For those of you who weren't at the Christmas party, we introduced a brand new Rotary song. I thought it went very well. We had three of us, Don and Warren and I, singing this song. I'm hoping to do it at another Rotary venue soon. We're waiting to hear back from our district colleagues, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. And thank you for all who attended the Christmas party. I thought it was a great success. Colin, thank you for getting that organized and your committee. Okay, so a number of announcements. 100th anniversary.
Just as far as location wise, so committee meetings, service, all are going to be here.
Yeah, there's a boardroom right here in the corner with a wonderful setup, video screens. So committee meetings and service project meetings, all of that will be here. Now, next month, our intent is to start with having 3 Rotary meetings a month, the first, the second, and the fourth, versus just the second and the fourth. And then the third Monday would be for both the service projects and the committee meetings. Okay. All right. So 100th anniversary planning continues. Channel 1 opportunities we've talked about a number of times. The Rotary Making Peace Visible Conference is on May 2nd. The Jeremiah program Cook for Kid dates, January 21st, May 20th, and September 16th. And the C2C Education Summit fundraiser at Victoria's on March 23rd and Sorolina's on April 27th. The Rotary midterm is going to be at Hamline University at the Kloss Center on January 18th, 2025. And we have a membership now with the Rochester Area Chamber of Commerce. Stuart, I was going to have you discuss this today, but I think we're going to hold on that Stuart has provided information on a number of the upcoming activities. This will also be in the moccasin flower. As Rotarians, now you are a member of this organization and can benefit from using their web hosting to multiple community members, attending the chamber events. So please take advantage of this. And if you have any feedback or questions, please connect with Stuart. With that, I think. Oh, Rotary Rotation Day. That's going to be on January 30th at the Diocese of Winona's new Rochester location. It's a beautiful location. I'm very excited to see that. It will be a bring your own lunch event, I believe. So we'd love to have you there. Again, I want to thank Lori Lutke on the remembrances of the decades of Rotary. Again, if you look in the messenger, you're going to see a number of these items. And with that, yes. So today our speaker is.
I can't figure it out. Somebody left a note sheet folded over. It's hard to read what it says, but it might be important to you.
I think we'll come back to this after I introduce our speaker for today. So today we would like to welcome Rick Swanson. He's going to present on Spark, the Spark Partnership, building a culture of giving. So please give Rick a warm welcome.
Thank you all very much. I want to thank Joseph, who first introduced me to this Rotary Club last year. And I want to thank Colin for creating a space for me to join you and speak to you today. And are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's take a quick trip to Kenya and meet the children of the Bridges Center, which is a home for children who have lost or been abandoned by their families. I made my first visit to the Bridges Center in 2019. And so how does a small business owner like me get connected to a home for abandoned children over 8,000 miles away? It happens through human connection and relationship, and when a small business owner has an inclination towards giving. And so I'm here to speak to you about building a culture of giving in our town, a culture that results in local impact and builds upon a person's innate desire to give. I'm Rick, and this is my wife, Janet, and we operate Fox and Swan Arts. I'm a photographer, and Janet paints and sews. We founded our business not only as an outlet for our creative talents, but also as a way to positively impact the lives of others. And so I have 3 points today to make about building a culture of giving. Please. The first point is that a culture of giving can grow when both givers and receivers operate with a sense of mission and a set of values. Now, think of a nonprofit agency you're familiar with. You maybe even have heard them publicly state their mission statement and their values, but businesses often have mission statements and value statements as well. Next, please. To build a culture of giving, I think it's essential for business owners and nonprofit leaders to share their mission and values with each other and look for points of commonality. In my case, I'm a teacher by background, and the Bridges Center operates a school. So when I visited them in 2019, I was given a chance to teach a science class in their school. By the end of my stay, my relationship with the children and teachers and staff at the Bridges Center had grown into a lasting friendship. This is our goodbye ceremony at the end of our stay. So even if it's unlikely that I'll ever travel to Kenya again, and even if my financial contributions to the Bridges Center are modest, I still have ways that I can contribute to their ongoing mission and support the work they do. Reiterating then point one, a culture of giving starts with a conversation between a person who has a desire and is in a position to give, speaking to a person who has the desire and is in a position to receive. And facilitating those types of conversations is part of my mission now as a public speaker and presenter. I've written how to build this culture in my book called Mission, Strength, Potential. And one of my goals is to offer workshops where business owners and nonprofit leaders gather to meet each other and simply talk about their mission and their values. Now, if you just limit that conversation to the leaders of those organizations, then I think we've missed the mark. And this leads me now to my second point. I believe human relationships are key to building that culture of giving, and the strongest partnerships are built when people from the two organizations work side by side on a common goal. So this is point two, serve side by side. For the giving partner, this means making opportunities for your employees to volunteer time along with your partner. Leadership by example is important here, so I think the head of the small business and their managers should include themselves in the mix of service and mindfully encourage interaction between employees and volunteers so that both leave with a sense of connectedness to the other. Let me give you an example from one of my past employers. I formerly worked for the Valspar Corporation in Minneapolis. They're now part of Sherwin-Williams. And in those years, Valspar partnered with Habitat for Humanity. And during my time working at Valspar, they contributed their millionth gallon of paint to Habitat for Humanity. Now that's impressive all by itself, but even more so is the fact that Valspar incentivized employees to donate time to working at a Habitat home. Now that's a bold step, and maybe large corporations are in a position to do that. Next slide, please. But small business owners can find their own ways to engage their employees with a nonprofit partner. This might include co-sponsoring a hole at a golf tournament or putting a team together to play at the tournament. Next, please. For small businesses, I know it's not easy to liberate employees to volunteer time, but anything you can do as a business owner to create connections between your local nonprofit and the people they serve will enhance your business's reputation and increase your impact. And this brings me to my third point today. In a culture of giving, the act of giving needs to be sustainable and not merely the flavor of the month. If you have worked in the nonprofit arena, you know the frustration of having a donor from a previous year simply pull the plug without announcement and not give in the future. So how can we protect against this? When small businesses have a good year, they may be flush with cash at that time, and they'll donate cash to the causes they believe in. But for many businesses, sustaining that cash donation year to year is unlikely. So instead, I advocate that businesses give within their means rather than try to make a big splash one year. And consider this example. Little Thistle Brewery in town here is well known, and the owners, Dawn and Steve, have built a reputation as being kind and generous people. You may know them. They are often asked to donate beer to people's events, and typically they actually turn those requests down. But instead, they donate something else that they actually have in ample supply. Do you know what that is? Meeting space. They open up their parking lot to art and craft fairs like the one shown here, and they have space inside their brewery that they either donate or rent at low to no cost. And that's a big value in this town if you know what it's like trying to find meeting space. Okay, next please. So I encourage small business owners who are philanthropically inclined but short on cash to go through an exercise I call an assets inventory and look for hidden assets that they may have available to them that are sitting idle and they're not being used, but could benefit the community. Okay. So in review, 3 key factors I see for building a culture of giving are focusing on mission and values, learning to serve side by side, and then finally giving in a sustainable way. I put all these concepts and more into the acronym I call SPARK, and I've described how businesses and nonprofits can work together in my book. Now, we live in a town that brings in hundreds of millions of dollars annually in donations, and we know where most of that money goes. Yet nonprofit agencies such as my current employer are left competing with each other for comparatively scarce funds. We have an opportunity, though, to take the culture of giving and extend it beyond the wealthy. Next slide. So even a business as small as mine can contribute and have an impact in a culture of giving. I'm grateful for this chance to speak to you. Won't you work with me to help build a culture of giving in our town? Thank you. So let's make it a dialogue now. And sorry, Joseph, I'm not gonna roll. Oops.
Oh, you go ahead.
By show of hands, how many of you would align yourself as either working in or having retired from or currently volunteering for a nonprofit organization? Good chunk of you. Yeah. How many of you would align yourself with having worked in or retired from or currently associated with a business or a small business? Okay, great. Now, my goal is to bring folks from those 2 camps together. I first learned about the concept of philanthropic giving from the business side of things, and how, as a business owner, to leverage the act of philanthropy as a way to grow my business. But no one was talking about the other side of that partnership, the nonprofit side. And business owners don't fully understand the world of working in nonprofits, and nonprofits may or may not understand the world of business. And so they a little bit lack a common language. And that's why you've heard me emphasize in my remarks the importance of finding points of commonality. And I think the way to do that is through a set of mission and values. And for me, that becomes a great talking point, initial talking point, and place for business owners and nonprofit leaders to start coming together. Those of you who kind of raised your hand on the nonprofit side, and you can help with the microphone, Dave. Thinking on the nonprofits that you've worked with, what have been their primary obstacles that they're trying to overcome in their day-to-day operations? What are some of those things?
Sustaining giving. I mean, you talked about it. Sustained giving, and also understanding the nonprofits I work with a lot as a volunteer on board chair or board member is to figure out the magic formula between the individual donor, the generous individual donor who's willing to give, I don't know, 5,000 or 10,000, and then they disappear, and how you sustain that. Or that gap that you're maybe addressing is the small business in the community. The larger businesses, we're working with grants and things like that. That gets a little more difficult. How do you respond to that income stream, if you will, of the donor, and where other channels might come from?
Yeah, I mean, let me give an example from my own case. My wife and I came to Rochester about 10 years ago. We were both working for the clinic, but we had our arts business in place already. And so we were trying to get connected to the arts community, or trying to get familiar with Rochester. And people said, oh, well, gosh, Festival of Trees is going on. You gotta go see Festival of Trees. I had no idea what that was about. So, okay, we went to the Festival of Trees, not knowing that 8 years later I'd be working for Hiawatha Homes. But in any case, we went to the Festival of Trees. And we saw 120 some trees, and we saw the names of the sponsoring businesses below them. I thought, well, that might be a really nice way for us to start building some name recognition for our arts business. And I'm just curious how that works. So I did some researching and found that in order to be admitted to the dance, it was about a $10,000 ticket to sponsor a tree to Hiawatha Homes. That door was closed to me. I could not play in that world at that level, right? And so that kind of, in the moment, ended my relationship with Hiawatha Homes. Now, I've had that conversation with the folks at Hiawatha Homes about, you know, how else do we engage people who can't otherwise be sponsors at that high ticket level? I'm never going to get my name on a new building at Mayo Clinic, I'll tell you that. But, you know, how else can I have impact in our community? Anybody from the business side run into that too? Were you struggling looking for ways to develop the reputation of your business and maybe of yourself as a business person as being a giving business, a charitable business, but just didn't have the vehicle to do that? Does anybody have a comment or a story like that?
Coming my way, coming my way. One of the thoughts I have of what you just asked about is that as a small business, and I'm now retired from that small business, so I have a little perspective on it. We were always in the past 15 years or so deluged with a lot of requests for support, donations, and so on as a company, not individually, but as a company. And so one of the things that happens is that while you may have a budget at the beginning of a year that might have, you know, $25,000 or whatever you have available, but it gets broken up because there are a lot of pieces that have to go to these different funds and different organizations to try to support them. So, I mean, we always had to make the decision: do we, you know, narrow this down to 4 or 5, or do we spread it out over $200 for a golf tournament, $1,000 for this and whatever? So, you know, any thoughts about that? Because you can't really expect a small business to put a large impact, like you mentioned, the Hiawatha Homes.
And that's the challenge I have discovered too, is that if we think of the act of philanthropy as a cash transaction, that rules a lot of us out of the game. Okay? And so I've spent a lot of time, and it's what I write about in my book, is how do we extend and creatively think of different ways that small businesses and small business owners who have that inclination, who want to be charitable in the community, how can we find ways for them to play, give them a space to be charitable, give them the recognition they deserve for being charitable, and make it so that it isn't a burden and it isn't slicing up an ever shrinking piece of pie, right? And having it make an impact that's newsworthy, right? And that's why you've heard me focus on the notion of the relationship. That's partly what I think the brilliance was of Valspar as a large corporation with a very sizable foundation those years, right? As I told you, they gave away over the years to Habitat millions, literally 1 million gallons of paint. The late Jimmy Carter, I think, participated in that celebration, and Valspar made a lot of publicity hay out of giving away that 1,000,000th gallon. Now, that's unfathomable for us to think about how much paint that is. But you know what? That was kind of literally a drop in their bucket, right? Asking Valspar to give paint away was like asking me to breathe. There was no particular pain for them to give away 1 million gallons. But the thing I think was brilliant on their part, and I think it's a lesson that small business owners can learn from, is that they truly did incentivize and encourage Valspar employees to take time, and they would schedule dedicated excursions out to a habitat home. And they'd spend a day out there slinging a hammer or slopping a paintbrush. And they'd come back so enthused about how much fun they had working at that particular habitat home. And it became a source of conversation at the water cooler at work on Monday. And it became a sense of pride and investment in the esprit de corps of the company, right? And I think that's the joy and the reward that awaits any of us in small business, is that human connection part of the giving. So I'm going to leave you with that thought, and I'm going to ask that you stew on that question. And I'm also going to ask for your help in helping me find ways to spread this message that philanthropy isn't only the domain of the wealthy. It's really open to all of us, and we just have to make those connections and start finding creative ways to work together. If you're compelled by my story about the Bridges Center, I have some greeting cards that I made. Anytime I sell a pack of greeting cards, I make a contribution from those sales to the Bridges Center. And I have a few copies of my book. If you're interested in what's in that book, I invite you to take a look at that. But again, I thank you all for your time today and appreciate the conversation with you about building a culture of giving in Rochester. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Giving is a big part of our community here, so this message really hits home. So thank you. Sarah, as I understand it, now we do have a guest.
Yes.
Would you like to help with an introduction?
I would like to introduce a guest. Lauren, would you stand, please?
Yep, Lauren Stead, you're a guest of Act to Tell today.
This is Lauren Stead, who was a former member of this
for 20
club.
years and now had a little pause, and I'm going to ask to be reconsidered if you like.
Absolutely. We are thrilled to have you here. I believe I remember you were with Olmsted Medical
I was,
Center.
yep.
When I just
Yep.
was a little.
Yep, 35 years with Olmsted Medical Center. It was pure joy. And that was the last chapter. New chapter. Want to plug something that's as near and dear to my heart, Asher's heart, and all of yours. Today on Midwest Access, 4 o'clock. It's a program which is Rotary's all about. And I'm on the Sister City Program International with Ash. And we talk about what that exchange is face to face and really citizens being diplomats, which is Rotary. So check it out, Midwest Access at 4. So that's my new chapter in life. This is awesome. The program today. Thank you. So give me a consideration. I would like to join.
We would be thrilled to have you. And Lauren, I should know this, but our sister city is.
We have six sisters, six of them. So thank you. Just a quick plug. It was started by Eisenhower in 1956. I believe Chuck Azama picked it up for the city. Mayor Brady took it on. During COVID, it took a pause, and then our current Mayor Norton brought it back. Sister cities are Akita in Japan, which you can join the group in September of next year. Shishang, which is in South Korea. Shanghai, which is in China. Kathmandu, and then Munster, Germany, and another one in Germany. Moosburg. And then we're on, out of that group, then there's friendship committees. We're trying to bring on the new ones. Cambodia is trying to come on, and then also Kuwait. So it's a really good, falls in totally with the Rotary, trying to build exchange and bases where people feel welcome. Because as we know, Humanity is about building and connecting because we think there's differences. There's not many differences. You start finding out that person has the same problems I do with health, with wealth, with relationships. So thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate it.
And all a vehicle to peace throughout the world. So thank you for everything you're doing. Years ago with, I think it was during Sama's time, I was chair of the World Something Committee where our focus was on one of those German communities. That was 35 years ago or more. It was a long time ago. Anyway, welcome. We're glad to have you today.
Dr. Stood also knows something about the Titanic.
That'll be another time.
Maybe a future presentation. All right. Okay. I do want to take a quick moment. There's a couple of tragedies, one that's going on and one that's occurred. So if we could all take a moment in silence to remember President Jimmy Carter, and I think all of our hearts go out to the folks that are being impacted by the fires in California. So I want to thank all of the people that were involved with our meeting today. Joseph was helping us as the reader today. John as the cashier and sergeant of arms. Lynn with the four-way test. I helped out today with the reflection. Frank with Happy Bucks. Randy, thank you for your new member spotlight. Sarah for the introduction of our guest today. AV and tech support, thank you, Chairston. And again, thanks to Rick, our speaker for today. So with that, and with Rotary's theme, the magic of Rotary, we will adjourn.